Welcome to Boating Tips Live with MarineMax, your weekly chat about boating products, service, safety, advice, and a whole lot more. Join the fun by submitting your boating questions answered on air by our knowledgeable captains. Without further ado, let's start the show.
How's it going, everybody?
Hey, what's up, Nick?
How are you, Keith?
Doing great.
Just another Monday, rocking and rolling, Boating Tips Live. Of course, that's how you know it's Monday. That's how you know it's going to be a great week.
Yeah, man, it was a great day today, too. I started out down at Longboat Key this morning, picked up an Azimuth S6, brought her back up for finish up a few things on a delivery we did a couple weeks ago. So, nice ride, man. What a nice, cool, it's just a fast, good running boat.
Yeah, I was going to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but is the S6 a triple IPS-driven boat?
Yep.
Pretty fast,
hey,
huh?
Gabriel Gonzalez is with us today. I wonder where he's watching from. He's just so excited.
Yeah, he's been looking forward to this all day. He let me know.
Bet he did.
Stephanie, too. Looks like we got a lot of viewers joining in all from the St. Pete office, so it still counts.
You guys are representing down there. That's good.
Hey, where's all your guys, Keith? I never see any of your guys hopping on here.
I don't know. I can see them through the window down there. We got customers in the showroom. They're walking them around, just looking at boats.
Oh, really? You guys having some boats show up, some Nautic Stars and stuff?
Yeah, we got some, the in-stock inventory is a little low, as you know, but we still got some boats here on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure everybody hears the whole, hey, there's no boats available. I mean, there's plenty of boats, whether they're awaiting delivery or they're, staying here with permission to show. There's quite a few different models to hop on and exactly, see what you're trying to order, whether that's an Aquila, a Nautic Star, Whaler, Sea Ray. We've all pretty much got quite a few boats in our showroom, all the different makes and models. If you want to come down, check them out.
Yep. So, what was it? A week ago, last weekend or whatever, we had the Sea Ray's new 37 Dancer up here. I was running a boat up from, let's see, where the heck did I go? Anyway, I was coming up off of Anna Maria last week when the 37 was leaving here. And I passed it down there off of Bean Point, man. That thing looked awesome running through the water.
Yeah, that's one of those things I want to get into towards the end of the episode. I want the in-depth, uncut Captain Keith's take on the 37 or the 370 Sundancer outboard, long awaited from Sea Ray. It's going to be a real popular model, if it's anything like the 32.
Yeah,
looks great. Yeah.
I mean, we touched on it last week. I didn't ever get a chance to run the boat, but there's a great walkthrough on that boat. Patrick did.
Okay.
Patrick works. So if you go to MarineMax's channel or you search around, you look around for it, the walkthrough Patrick did is pretty damn good.
Yeah, we'll have to have that posted there in the comments. So this is going to be a little bit of a different episode of Boating Tips Live. So how this is going to work, if you guys have been following us on social media or you stay up to date on MarineMax, or especially MarineMax's MarineMax Clearwater schedule, they had one of the icons of the boating industry in there for last weekend. And that's Captain Sandy Yawn with Below Deck Mediterranean. Right? Is it Below Deck Mediterranean?
Yep.
On the 150-foot boat over there, she's a celebrity. There's no way around it. And the thing about her, I'm sure Keith's gonna hit on this a little bit more. She's as real as they come, and she's quite the experienced captain. I mean, a yacht captain. Big boats and stuff. So you guys got to get together and kind of pick each other's brains a little bit, huh?
Yeah, man, it was really cool. We did a women on water class. There was probably 20 some, maybe almost 30 ladies here, and Captain Sandy sat in on the class, which was cool. And so she was able to contribute some stuff, and I learned some stuff from her, and maybe vice versa, I don't know. But actually, what you see on the show is what you get. I mean, she's it's, I guess, when you're doing these reality shows, you got cameras in your face long enough, your true colors, come out. And it was, she's really cool person,
Yeah, I was bummed I couldn't make it. I was holding down a fort over here in St. Pete, but it looked like a great turnout. It looked like a great event, and I'm definitely excited to see the Q&A between you guys and the audience. With that being said, while we're gonna play this video, Captain Keith are gonna be monitoring the chat. So if you have a question that pops up, we're gonna be able to respond to you. Go ahead, bring those questions, and then we'll join you back live here in a little bit. So here we go. We got Captain Sandy, Captain Keith, and I haven't seen this yet, so I'm actually looking forward to it.
I haven't seen it either. So, all right. Without any further ado, we're gonna mute our mics, but we'll be able to chat with you guys, and let's see what we got. Captain Keith here from MarineMax in Clearwater, and look at this. I am not in the Med. I'm not in Spain. I'm not in Italy. Unfortunately, we're here at the Clearwater showroom with Captain Sandy.
Thank you, Captain Keith, for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
It's great. So we were just fortunate enough. We just had a Women on Water class here today.
That was awesome to witness this, by the way.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Sea Ray is put this on for us. As you can see, we got the Sea Ray swag and Sea Ray gear here. We've got the 37 Dancer here as well. So we've been running demos and stuff on that today. Sold a few. So that's all good. I'd just like to ask you a couple questions about the show and just, pick your brain a little bit.
Awesome.
So today was a Women on Water class, and we had, 25, 30 ladies here, something like that. Yeah. Malia on your show, she's been on several different episodes.
Right.
Worked her way up, so now she's bosun, but she's also got her captain's license and stuff like that. And it's, as you being a captain, what's that like as far as the getting the women into that profession?
Thanks for that question, because Malia is a perfect example of how Bravo has really reached lives, and also the opportunity for me to kind of change people's trajectory in life.
Right.
So Malia, when I first said, hey, you want to be a captain, you'd be a great captain. You're very clear, your communication style, you're a great diffuser. And she's like, sorry, Cap, I just want to be a dive instructor. So the next day, she was on anchor watch. I wake up and she goes, hey, did you look in the log and see what I wrote? And I go, no. She said, I looked up my captain's license, how to get it. I signed up for the courses. So sometimes the little conversations that you have with people make such a huge difference. And now what I love about Malia is that just because she's on the TV show doesn't mean she stops her career. Because a lot of times, a lot of crew are there for TV. They're not there for a maritime career. And Malia's there for a career. So yes, she went and got her license. She continues to work on a vessel. And I'm sure it hasn't been easy for her, but she's a great navigator of personalities. And I saw the potential in her.
Well, I mean, and so are you. I mean, how the situations that you're thrown into and stuff like that, how do you remain so calm, or are you really going crazy, but it's just on the outside? It's like, like the little duck underwater, right? You see the legs are paddling like crazy.
Well, you're a captain, so calm. Calm brings calm, right?
Yep.
If you're not calm, you bring that energy. So for me, if I stay calm, it's a natural thing for me. I'm naturally that person, but also I think the training is a huge part of it. So when you're trained and your ABCs, in the rules of the road, and everything that's happening, even with personalities, we take an STCW course, and one day in the classroom is all about personalities living together, hygiene, personal hygiene, and it's a full day on how to get along with people. So my thing as a captain, I know I have a business to run, I have charter guests on board, but then I have some meltdowns. And what I do is I just think about, where are they coming from? I put myself in their shoes and think, how would I want someone to talk to me? And that's what I do. So I'm not going to yell at them, because when you yell at people, you get zero results.
Right, they shut down.
Right, exactly. So I just calmly have a conversation, and I sometimes say, look at where your feet are. You're on a super yacht in the middle of the Mediterranean. That's what you have to think of.
Right.
And count the cash under your pillow.
Yeah, a lot of that.
Yeah.
Kind of like those cash meetings at the end of the show. kind of almost jumping back, how did you get into the business? How'd you end up in this situation?
Well, I was that kid that was just kind of lost in the world, and I had a lot of fines to pay back, so I had to get a job. And back in the day, as you know, we looked in the newspaper, and the help wanted ads, and I found a job washing boats. And that's how I got started.
Wow. That's crazy. I mean, that's awesome all the way up to that. So I've been watching the show. I've been binge watching it and stuff like that. It seems like the weather, you just, you spend an inordinate amount of time almost. You can't leave the dock.
Yeah, so unlike America, unlike the East Coast of the U.S., we have weather trends, right?
Right.
Because basically it's flat.
Right.
When you get into the Med, it's very unpredictable. In fact, when you hear the weather forecast, it's 40% accurate, 60% it's not. So it can shift. So on anchor, beautiful sky, it's almost like the mountains burp. I can't, like the cold air, the warm air, and the wind just kicks up from nowhere, and the skies are as clear as like it is right here in Clearwater. And one day I was at breakfast. We were on this 6,000-ton mooring line, and the way that our anchor, I was on a Hatteras, and the anchor's on the outside. It's not in a pocket. We had been swinging on anchor, and it chafed the line.
Oh, wow.
So the wind went over 100 knots, just like that. Clear sky. There is not a cloud in the sky. And all of a sudden we broke loose, and I'm like, oh my God. So I ran upstairs for 15 minutes. It blew like that, and then it was gone.
Wow.
So when we go to leave a dock, I always have to look at the forecast. But then there are different forecasts, and it changes, it shifts. And that time of year, when we film, the season's basically, that time of year for the weather.
You don't know what you're going to get. It's going to change.
So you always have to plan your escape, right?
Right.
I do leave the dock, but also the insurance companies mandate that we're not allowed to leave the dock over a certain wind speed.
Sure. That makes sense.
Yeah. So a lot of times I could probably get off the dock, but I can't break that law.
So anchoring, that's even our customers, our clients, right? So I do the orientations and the training and stuff like that. That seems to be one of the toughest things that people got to figure out how to do, especially when you're trying to get into a beach and you're using a stern anchor. I know you'll take lines and tie them up to the rocks and stuff like that, but you got to watch out if you swing around and it's a delicate dance. Exactly.
And I think in the U.S., the currents are a lot stronger than they are in the Mediterranean. It's more wind. However, anchoring is something that can be learned. And I think the more you practice, the better you are. And there are procedures that you do to anchor. It's like we all know you drop your anchor and you come back on your anchor, right?
Yep.
Until, 5 times the depth. In bad weather, it's 7 times the depth.
Yep.
So we put out 5, and then we start letting out more chain as I feel the boat jerk back. So when we're talking on the radio, and I make them hold their hand wherever the anchor is.
Okay.
So this is, medium slack. That's, hard,
tight.
Right? So it's like, so when I know it's like that, then I bump it astern, and then I go like a knot or two behind. I put it in neutral, and you feel the boat go like that.
Yep, you've got to set that anchor. If you just drop it down there and it's just sitting right on top of the sand or the hard bottom, and you don't pull it back and set it and hook it, you're just going to end up just drifting around and doing all that. So.
And also looking at a chart and saying, is this mud, is this sand, is this gravel? Because that really determines how well the anchor holds.
Right, and those of you with windlasses too, it's hard to judge how much anchor road you're putting out. So you'll notice on her show, right, they've got different colors on the chains or the shackles. So it'll be red or it'll be green. And she knows what the depth segments are on that.
Right.
So I'll recommend our clients, you take your anchor road out or chain or line, and you can put ribbons on it, you can spray paint it, you can color it. So at 40 feet, you see a red stripe go out. At 60 feet, you got 2 or whatever, just whatever works for you when you're there at the helm and you can see it go out. Because you try to count maybe a foot a second, but then you lose track.
Yeah, and that's such great advice, because anchoring can make your day trip or kill your day trip. Because if you're spending your time with your anchor dragging, that's not fun.
No.
You want to be in the water, so make sure you secure your anchor. That's great advice, painting the chain. I mean, the smaller boats should paint their chain.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe MarineMax could do that for them.
Yeah, our riggers need something else. You never know. All right. So I've taken some notes. So our clients picked to be excessively harsh. And it seems, sometimes you get great guests, right? I mean, but then it's like, for real, where do they come from? I mean, it's like, can you really be that obnoxious?
Well, I think the cameras make people drink more.
Yeah.
Honestly, when you have these cameras in your face, it's a little uncomfortable. Most of the clients are amazing.
Yeah.
I think when you add the alcohol and they're not getting the level of service that they want, because they're always talking under the breath behind the crew's back, just like the crew are talking under their breath behind the guest's back.
Right.
Like, on a super yacht in their charter business, it's a little different because usually the principal charter client pays for everybody.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And he brings his friends.
Right.
I think on some of our stuff, people split the cost. I don't think one person pays. So, it all averages. Who knows their financial situation, but they're not casted for drama. People are casted, they only cast one person. They're casted for personality.
Right.
They're casted, they don't want, in any business, I always say to the owner, you have TV at home. You're here to enjoy your boat, right? So why is the TV so important to people on a boat? I don't get it.
Thank you.
And the thing is the other part is you want to keep them active because you want their memories to be incredible.
Yeah.
So that's a big part of it. Keep them active, keep them in the water. You have all these water toys. And that's what I always say to my crew. They go, oh, they haven't asked for the wave runners. I go, it's not their option to ask. Like, it is their option to walk out and go, wow, I want that toy or that toy or that toy.
Yeah.
Every toy that we own goes out every time, even if it never gets used.
Yeah.
And that's really a big part of it. So the clients sometimes the alcohol really takes over. And if you keep them in the water and exercising and playing, then they're having more fun than they are drama.
Yeah. So and the alcohol, I'm wearing the Sober Skipper wristband, which I sit on the Sober Skipper National Advisory Council Committee. So those of you that are drinking or partaking or any on your own boats and stuff like that, designate a sober skipper, have somebody, and maybe you own the boat, but you don't always want to be that guy. You've got friends that can run a boat or whatever, and just kind of take turns to go around. So you're hitting all the little restaurants and the bars and stuff like that.
I need one of those.
I'll get you one.
Because I'm a sober skipper.
Yep, we got to be. So Lisa Harrison had a question for me. She wanted me to ask you, what's the hardest port that you've had to maneuver and get into? And
everyone thinks my docking and Saint-Tropez was like so wild, but it was actually not hard because when you're in a very tight place, you're protected. And when you're going stern to, once you're between the ground lines, you're in.
Right.
It doesn't matter. You're not going anywhere. You're in. Sometimes we have to go like this and the prop washes the boat out. The hardest port I've ever been in, two marinas, one's in Rome. They call it it's the Rome Marina. And on a following sea, so they have two big bollards, that like big walls. You have to go through two. And the beach is right there.
Okay.
So the minute you're coming in, you've got to follow, because you're always going in on the following sea for some reason in the Med. I don't know why. So as you know, those are really hard to control your boat. But the minute, because you're giving a little throttle to stay in front of the wave,
right?
And then all of a sudden you're on the beach and you're throttling back. And I'm telling you, the bow of the boat went over you could see the shade over the people's heads on the beach. So it's really small turning basin. That marina and San Remo.
Okay.
Another following sea,
right.
Hard marina to get into. Most of them, I have to say, obviously they're tight when you're in there, which is fine, because unlike here, there is not a lot of current in the Med.
I mean, actually pulling a boat or a yacht into a slip that's tight sometimes it's easier because it's almost like a shoe, like a shoehorn, right?
Yeah. So
you're squeezing in, and if you've got your pilings and all that stuff, but if you've got a big wide space, there's too much, things to push you around and blow you around. And like I tell all my clients, if you can back into the wind or back into the current, you've got better stability, you've got better maneuverability, because it's kind of like a flag on a flagpole. So I've got a 250 SDX sitting over here, right? And if the current's going that way and I'm backing into it, that motor's your flagpole, the bow's the flag, and it has to follow where you're pulling it, right? So if you go in the other way, that wind's going to push you right past your slip anyway, and then you end up doing it that way. So coming into a slip, go ahead, turn around and do a 180 if you have to. Go past it, do what you got to do, but try to back into that spot against the current, right?
Yeah, because your props are back there.
Exactly.
So it's steering you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree. That's why the bed's so easy. I mean, people look at it and they're so intimidated. I'm like, actually, it's a lot easier because you're just going stern too. But you know, when you're on that size boat and you have a 27 knot wind on your beam, it's a little harder.
So, and those of you that watch the show too, you notice how important communication is. They've got the headphones, they've got everything else. I mean, they're calling out distances and all that stuff. So if you've got a yacht, you know, from us, or anybody that's got a yacht and visibility is reduced or whatever, you know, you and your wife get hooked up on the microphone and the earbuds so you can talk and communicate. So it makes it that much easier.
Yeah, you know, I like that because a lot of people, when they buy new boats, obviously you train them. I always say, get your guests involved because it makes them feel like they're a part of the solution instead of freaking out. Oh my God, we're in bad weather, we're in rough seas. Give one a lookout, you know, hey, you watch the radar if there's a radar, or you just keep, you know, the binoculars on, make sure we don't hit anything. And that's what I do. I was in a really bad situation in Saint-Tropez. We were anchored off and they have what's called mistrals. And the mistral, the wind blows. Everybody wants to be at the dock. And actually people died during this particular mistral. And I'm talking super yachts, dragging anchor. You know, everybody's like driving, motor yacht scats, like driving around in circles because their anchor won't hold. A lot going on. And my clients, I was on charter. So they were all on the bridge. And I just made it fun. I'm like, you know, well, he's dragging, but we're not. So here's this, I'm giving away a little secret, but so you know how you have the cables on the charts? It's like no anchor zone. Well, there's this one corner and I'm going to go anchor near the cable, right?
Right.
Well, apparently people have dragged that cable out because it wasn't on the line because I anchored a cable off of the cable.
Right.
That's a distance. And our boat never drags. So we go to haul the anchor and the crew go, we got the town's cable. I'm like, put it back in the water. Just put it back because that's like, you know, it's not good.
Right.
The good news is I didn't destroy the electricity to Saint-Tropez, but our boat didn't move. And, you know, that the client, we made a joke out of it, but we kept them engaged, we kept them involved, and they weren't scared.
Right. That's great advice. So when you are not chartering, let's say for the TV series, right, for Below Deck, are you running other charters or other yachts and stuff?
No, just personally, but not for other people. Obviously, the show keeps me busy.
Right.
I do have to run some boats to maintain my license, which I do. I was actually going to take a job in this season in the Med, but it didn't work out. So I will. The problem is people don't want to hire me because I have to get off the boat sometimes and go, I got an interview to do, or so it's difficult.
So like with my license, I got 100 ton. Do you have to renew every 5 years, or is
every 5 years.
So it's the same?
Yes.
It's the same
Yes.
thing. You got to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. What do you think about nachos?
Okay, so I personally like nachos, but I don't think a super yacht client, unless requested, should be served nachos.
Those were the most hideous looking. Like you took a jar of Frito leg cheese or something on the. I mean,
and then they're
I love
torched
nachos,
and
but I
melted
mean,
the cheese.
man, make them like gourmet.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're gonna make tater tots, make them
you
gourmet
can make a nacho
tots.
look really amazing, right? They're
Yeah.
so yeah. I always share this. A super yacht chef can do any cuisine. The last cuisine you're going to see is nachos, right? So they challenge themselves. So these meals are incredible, and I think we give a lot of opportunities to people who want to be super yacht chefs.
Right. Makes sense.
You know, I got to deal with them. So, you know, hey, I just want to encourage people. I share this as well. And I said this to Kiko. If I ran a dinghy, a canoe, I was a captain of that canoe, and I mastered my canoe, and I get offered this super yacht to drive because the owner has no idea. Should
Right.
I take that job?
Of course not.
Right. My point exactly.
Right.
Because now I failed. And now he knows I failed. Everybody else knows I failed. And I failed myself because I was so big and grandiose that I was like, I can do this. But guess what? There's limitations, and you don't go from 0 to 100 without going 10, 20, 30, 40,
Sure.
50. And the same thing in boating. It's if you want to be a chef, a super yacht chef, then get the training and work under a super yacht chef. If you want to be a captain, start on small boats and learn your way up. No matter what you want to be in life, you don't go from here to there and get that position. You have to work hard to get there. There's a speech by Denzel Washington. Everyone should Google. He did a commencement speech about 5 years ago. It's called God First. But in that speech, he talks about each one teach one. And he also talks about dreams are just dreams unless you have goals. And every day you work on your daily goals. The speech, I watch it all the time to remind myself, hey, I can't get here until I do all this work because, 56 years young, I go, why don't I have this? Well, I haven't done the footwork. And that's really it. Each one teach one and goals. And you do the work.
You know what? I think that's a great place to cut this off and leave this right there. That's some great advice. Captain Sandy, it's a pleasure. It's awesome meeting you.
You too.
I'm glad you're here. And
thank you.
We'll see you guys out on the water.
Hey, that was awesome, Keith. Way to hang in there with the big dogs, man. You were very well versed there. Great interview.
Dude, she made it easy. So, but I don't know. I like being out on the water rather than in front of the camera better. But
no, I thought you did a great job.
No, it's like I said. So it's just she made it easy. So it was a good time. I think it was like a quick 20-minute interview there. So Lisa Harrison, loved the nacho question. Yeah, so a couple different episodes of that show, the chefs had tried to make nachos for the clients, and it's late night and they're already drunk and all that, but they're just like I said, they pour a melted cheese on top of some Tostitos or something and said here. So you'll have to watch the episode. It's pretty funny.
If you're too good for nachos, you're too good for me.
No, but it's like her point. If you're going to make nachos on a super yacht, you make super yacht nachos.
Yeah. Hey, were you nervous at all?
By that point, no, not really. Once it got started, we got rolling. I mean, a little bit, but we get worked up for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, are you getting a lag at all coming from?
She put you at ease. I'm not. Am I?
Huh. I am. All right. We'll continue then. Well, that was awesome, Keith. That was a good little tidbit there, and I had a few takeaways from that. You talked about your 100-ton license. I've got a 100-ton license. How big is her license? Do you think that she's got an unlimited license or what?
I forgot. I didn't ask her that, so I don't know. Malia, the bosun they were talking about. So a couple seasons ago, she was on there. She started out as a deckhand, and then she's been, putting her time in and working her way up. And she's got a 200-ton now. Last episodes of the show, whatever I was that I watched. So, I don't know what Captain Sandy's rating is.
It's a pretty big jump to bump up from 100 to 200. You need to have some pretty serious time on boats that are a lot bigger than, what you might have a bunch of opportunities to just hop on and go.
Yeah, I think they get a lot of that time when they run the boats. Like, say they take it from Europe back over here to the Bahamas or whatever. They can log a lot of miles, a lot of days. Kelly Berry's got a question there. What's the largest boat you've ever run? I think it's like an 80-foot Hatteras. It was right 78 or 80-foot Hatteras, and then under that will be a 73 Ocean Alexander, and then some 70s and 68s and that. How about you, Nick? What's the biggest one you've run? You still with me?
70 Aquila,
Okay. Oh,
which
yeah.
was yeah, you got me.
Yeah.
So 70 Aquila, and then what is it? What is the old sexy lady? Is that a 63 Hatteras?
What were they?
The motor yacht, not the
that was a Viking.
not the Viking, the motor yacht.
Oh.
The one before that.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I those are the two biggest ones I ran, and people think that it's scary. I mean, the truth really is, those big boats, you just do everything slow. You do everything in increments, and there's so many different tools on those boats, and you just got to know how to use them. You cannot rush anything because those boats are a lot harder to stop. I mean, if you know what you're doing and you're confident and you don't freak out and you've done it before, I mean, those big boats, as long as everything's working properly, can really make an owner operator, maybe somebody that's not a professional captain, look like an expert.
Yeah, it's I mean, you get into the super yachts, I'm sure it's like our boats on steroids, but people have a boat with a bow thruster, right? Oh, I don't want to use it. I don't want to use it. It's cheating. My buddy told me it's cheating. If the tool's there, take it out of the tool bag and use it. Yeah, you could practice docking and stuff like that without the thrusters. You may not need the thrusters, but now with all the IPS and the Zeus pods and Axios and all the joystick docking, which we've done shows on and got videos on that. And if you watch, her show, the Below Deck Mediterranean, and when they're coming into port and they're leaving anchorage and that, and she can stand out on the wing so they can kind of she can see what's going on. But it's all joystick controlled and all computer driven there. So
I always make the joke that joysticks put all the captains out of business, and that's why I had to start selling boats.
Good choice.
Yeah, but and I got a question for you, Keith. Captain Sandy brought up, just about the most difficult port she's ever docked in and stuff like that. So, when you're on an airplane and you're coming in turbulence, right? And the captain lands the plane, what does everybody do? Everybody starts cheering, right? And that captain's got to feel pretty good about him and his skills. So I got to ask, what is the number one airline pilot moment that comes to your mind, when you were captaining a boat and you came back in a dock, whether it was on one engine, inclement weather, and you really, really, really knocked it out of the park, where you might have been a little nervous, or not nervous, but, you just knew the situation. Is there one time that comes into mind?
Gosh, I got to think about it, but yeah, like you said, though, coming in on when you're down an engine or something like that, that's always tough.
Yeah.
And just some advice too, if you are on a boat that happens to, and you're out in the bay or before you actually get to the dock, figure out how the boat's going to react. Get out when you're out in open water still. Put it in and out of gear and see if how it's going to back up and all that. Way back in my younger years, I was a dock master at Terra Verde Marina, and that marina was kind of built sideways to the way the current runs through there. So there was always a lot of, hairy moments in there, trying to move boats around and get stuff done. But the 73 OA, we took delivery of that. We came down the East Coast. We went to Key West, and we shouldn't have been out. It was too rough. I mean, it was horrible. It took us probably a couple hours to get out of Miami Beach Marina to go couple miles down the coast towards Key Largo. I mean, it was nasty, but we finally made it to Key West and at Conch Harbor Marina and putting the boat in the slip down there. And it was blowing 30, 40, raining. It was nasty. That was take a big deep breath, and we shut that boat down and went up and had a few soda pops after that. That was a good night, but it was a little hairy getting in there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's obviously you never want to put yourself in those situations, but you're not going to have a choice sometimes, and we've mentioned it quite a few times in other episodes. You want to know how to use those tools before you have to need to use them, whether it's your radar, whether it's your docking on one engine, whatever that might be. Pick that nice day, go out there, get familiar with everything, so it's second nature when you have to have it kick in, and just so you can kind of get back safe. One thing there towards the end that I really liked from Captain Sandy was, you can't go 0 to 100, call it 0 to 100 feet. You got to put in the work in between. From all your experience and all of the boats you've delivered to repeat boaters that might have bought, 2, 3, 4, 5 boats or more from MarineMax right there in Clearwater, what's the average size? And I know this is a tough question to answer because you see it all over the board. Generally speaking, what's the average size that you'll see people bump up? Like say they start with a 16-footer. Do you usually see them, with a 20-footer after that? Do you see them with a twin engine boat? What does the progression usually look like for you? And how long is that progression as well? When are you seeing people bump up to come back and get their next boat?
I call a 4-foot itis.
Yeah.
So basically 4 foot. So if somebody's in a 22-foot Sea Ray or whatnot, they'll jump on up to, 26, 27.
Mm-hmm.
The 4 foot seems to be about the range that people jump. And gosh, man, I mean, every couple years, it seems, 2 or 3, flares have an expiration date of 3 years. So when I'm doing an orientation, I tell the customers, I said, look, you guys, you don't ever want to have to buy a set of flares. So when you're ready for a new set of flares, come in, get with your sales guy, get you a new boat, we'll get you a new flare kit, and you're going to be set for the next 3 years because flares are so damn expensive. You don't want to buy those. So you can
I'm going to start using that. I'm going to start using that. I like that.
Go. Don't let them expire.
Yeah. It's crazy how many stories you hear too of, guys that have been in the industry for so many years that, there might be a guy with an 85 Ocean Alexander or something like that. And the first boat he bought might have been a 20-foot Sea Ray, and just how that progression works and exactly how high it goes. You don't see much downsizing with boats, do you? I mean, you do, but I mean, generally everybody's bumping up, huh?
Yeah. To a certain extent, there's definitely like a sine wave to it, right? I mean, they build up, get up top, and then you go back to kind of keeping it simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
The kids have grown. You don't need as much room on the boat. They're off to college or whatnot, and then you can kind of downsize again. But then it just everybody's different because then all of a sudden you got the grandkids and all that, and you need more room again. So it's it's definitely a living, breathing thing. They definitely go up and down.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, every case is different along the line. I mean, you got guys that will start out with a great big boat, then you run into different insurance issues, but that's a whole different story.
Well, that's like Captain Sandy talking about, from 0 to 100. With insurance and all that stuff, you want to show a natural progression, in the size of your capabilities of buying a boat. So a lot of times if somebody gets into something that's maybe a little too big, the insurance company may put some stipulations on you, hey, you're going to need X number of hours with a licensed captain or whatnot.
Is that something that you handle a lot, Keith? I mean, in situations with maybe like a first time boat buyer on a 65-footer, will you spend a little bit of time with, whoever for the insurance hours, or is that more of a private captain gig?
So just due to the number of hours required, it pretty much switches over to a private captain that they'll hire.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can, I'll spend a day or two, with somebody, but then I've got more boats to deliver and we got, more push through here. So when somebody gets the boat home like that, 6 I just picked up today, he's got a captain that he's hired to run the boat when he's on the boat.
I love those big boats with captain. I with captains on them. I can't tell you, if you can do it or if you want to do it. I mean, even not the biggest boats. I've got a 44 kilo right here that I'm looking at. The guy's got a full-time captain. Man, that thing is ship shape all the time. It is captain. He's a lot. He's a lot to deal with, and he comes to me. But man, that boat is tight 24/7. And if it's not, you know it's being handled.
Yep. And then the client, the owner shows up. They can get on there with their friends and family and go out and have a good time and don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah, it's an interesting take, man, because I mean, you're usually not thinking full-time captain until you start thinking 80 footers, but I mean, we see it on all sorts of boats. But speaking of deliveries, what do you got coming up this weekend? I haven't even looked at the weather for this weekend yet.
Gosh, I don't even know if I've even looked at my calendar here, Nick. Let's see what we got. There's actually, it's kind of light this week. I'm going to run just a service run. I'm taking a 32 Aquila back up to Dunedin tomorrow.
Oh, is it the one? I know which one you're talking about.
We got women on water class on Wednesday. That's full. That's 9 a.m. on Wednesday. Doing a couple reorientations on Thursday. So that's something else too. So this particular customer wants some more time, him and his wife on the boat. So I'm going to head over to Bel Air on Thursday and go spend another, 3-4 hours with them. And whether it's, practicing putting it on their lift or anchoring or whatnot. So that's about it.
Man.
And then this Saturday too, coming up, I've got an intro to boating class at 9:00, which that's, there is no on water part to that. So anybody that's watching this or listening to it that actually wants to sign up for the intro to boating class Saturday at 9 a.m.
Is that class full?
Here at Clearwater? No, we can take as many people as we want.
Oh, no kidding.
We can pack the showroom on that because we don't break into groups to go out on the water on that class. It's just all done. It's all done inside. So just a couple hours Saturday morning.
Are you covering pretty much the same stuff, or for the
we do portion? I do the same thing in the intro to boating class basically as I do like a women on water class. So it'll just all be safety gear, channel markers, rules of the road, anchoring, VHF radio, EPIRB, just that kind of stuff. Flares.
Yeah, if you guys are on the west coast of Florida and you want to take advantage of that, go ahead and yep, there you go. She read
there.
Mallory
Mallory
just posted it. She beat me to it. So seriously, I mean, I'm a captain just like Keith, and I learned something new in each of his classes. And I'm running boats every day, and there's an endless supply of nuggets that you can pick up and better yourself, make yourself a more confident boater, a safer boater, and enjoy yourself a lot more on the water with your family, because you're not going to be you're not going to be scared of your boat, and that's our goal. With that being said, we got a cool episode next week. I can honestly say that the episode next week is probably the first episode we're doing that I know nothing about it. I mean, I know absolutely nothing about what we're doing next week, but I know we have somebody coming on that does. So, what do you think about next week's episode, Keith? Hold on, let me just pull up the information on it.
I hope Andy's watching this, because he's better be on his toes, because that makes you and me both on this. So,
dude,
next week,
nothing.
We've got Andy Wigman. He's the co-director of the Midwest Wake Surf Association. So he's started this up, and we find out all sorts of things about wake surfing and wake boating and all that. So look forward to that.
That's a huge part of the boating community too. I mean, when you and I think boating, we think intercoastal, saltwater, Florida. I mean, there's a lot of landlocked places that wake surfing, that skiing community. I mean, that's it. I mean, that's what it revolves around. And I'm really looking forward to learning about towboats, which is what they call them, I guess. And yeah, that's going to be a learning episode for me. So I'm probably gonna sit down, shut up, and kind of take it all in, because I really am looking forward to that episode.
Yeah, we got to do a little bit of homework for that one. But yeah, I mean, we forget about that. I mean, most of our boating's probably done on the lakes and stuff throughout the U.S. and the world here, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot more out there. Got one question before we sign off here, Keith, from Brian Drapp. What is the best procedure for applying for a position at MarineMax for someone who wants to get into the industry? All of our MarineMax is a great company to work for. All of our job openings, job listings are online on what's called the application portal. No matter who you know in MarineMax, you got to do that. You got to apply through that application portal. That's where we do everything. You can come in and talk to any of us, and we'll tell you the same thing. But that's the number one thing that you can do. Working for MarineMax, I'm a little biased. It's you know, I've done it since I was in college. You know, I'm graduated college, and it's great working for MarineMax. You truly are surrounding yourself with the greatest people in the industry. You're surrounding yourself with industry leaders such as Captain Keith, all those guests that you've seen on our show, whether they're manufacturers or dealers or anything like that, other people that can branch out in a million different ways. You truly are surrounding yourself with the best mentors around. And you know, just check out and see what we have, whether you're in Florida, right here in Clearwater, St. Pete, down in Miami, all the way up in New England, Texas, the Great Lakes. You know, there's something for everybody, whether you're service oriented, sales oriented, or you know, parts or management, whatever it may be. MarineMax is a phenomenal company to work for.
Front desk, finance, getaways.
Yep.
I mean, we do it all. And they just put the link down in there underneath your question there, Brian. So there's the link to that.
So come on and join a team. Well, Keith, speaking of teams, I appreciate having you on my team and, you know, working alongside you and
likewise, brother.
And always learning and continuously learning every single day on and off the water. So that's what it's all about.
That's right. Just take this time to thank everybody for tuning in and watching and joining us today. And you can hear it on podcast, on whatever podcast media you use. And it's on YouTube and Facebook. So once again, Captain Keith, that's Captain Nick. See you guys out on the water.
Bye, everybody.